Okay, hi class. I'm just going to show you what we were talking about with styles. So styles, to create a level 1 style that's in accordance with the APA formatting, we first of all change our font to Times New Roman 12, bold, center a title, put centering on, put double line spacing on, and remove any space before and after. So once we have that formatted, then we can create a style based on that formatting. According to your project, you are to create a style with these settings. So the Times New Roman, the 12, the bold, the double line spacing, etc. Then you go up to this area and you say create a style. You're creating a style based on what you just formatted, which is going to be level 1 heading. Now I already created the level 1 heading style, so I'm just going to modify it. When it pops up, it just asks you to call it a name, so I called it H1 for heading 1. And I left the style type linked paragraph and character based on normal and just these settings H1. Now you want to make sure again that it's Times New Roman 12, bold. It should appear that way, but if not, I'm just double checking everything. I'm going into format paragraph and I'm making sure that the line spacing was double and the spacing before and after are 0. And then I can say OK. So we know H1 is set up correctly. H2, same thing. What I did is I set it to Times New Roman. I went in and I created a new style, and it came up like this. Call it H2. I checked the formatting just to make sure we have 12 Times New Roman. We have 12 point, bold. Line spacing should be double, and our before and after spacing should be 0. So when you know that all that's set, you say OK, and you have that saved as H2. When we get to H3, H3 is a little bit tricky because H1 and H2 were created as styles that apply to paragraphs, and because they're on their own line of text, then it's OK. It formats it no problem, and nothing after it is affected. But in this one, formatting for heading 3, notice that we have text that comes right after it, and so it can be tricky because if we were to click on the heading and click H3 on, it will begin to try to format the whole paragraph, which we don't want. So we have a couple of options. We can apply the formatting to only the heading here if we select it first, or we create a type of style called a character style. But in this case, I think we can continue on with what we were doing and just make sure that we apply it to the level 3 heading as needed. So if I were to go down to the bottom of this, for example, and hit enter and write another level 3 heading, I probably would write another level 3 heading, and then I would continue on writing my paragraph, whatever you're going to put in your report. And I want to now format that level 3 heading. Well, if we just click on the heading itself and go to H3, it's going to format the whole paragraph. As you can see, we don't want that. So what we want to do is just select H3 and turn it on that way, and it will only get the level 3 heading. Now, how did I create H3? What I did is I typed in the information I needed on the screen and bolded it, and just used the tab key because H3 level 3s are tabbed in to begin with the paragraph. And I made sure that these settings said linked paragraph and character rather than just character. I think we need to have the linked paragraph and character, normal style H3, bold, Times New Roman 12, and then we can go into the format again. And I have first line indented by a ½ inch, double line spacing, and no spacing before or after. And I saved all of that, and now I have a level 3 heading. So once the level 1, 2, and 3 headings are created, then you go and apply them to your document. And I created one more heading level 1 down here, and applied little style heading 1 to it. And if we look in our document, we can see where the text is, it's normal style, and where the headings are, it's H1, 2, or 3, our new styles that we created. The reason we're applying styles to all these pieces of text is so that when we generate the table of contents, it will pick up the page numbers where all this information is, and it will put together a table of contents for us so we won't have to scan through a document and create a table of contents and figure out all the page numbers. In a short document, of course, this doesn't really make a lot of difference, but in a long document, you don't want to scan through 100 pages to figure this out. So now I'm on the table of contents page, and I'm going to go References, Table of Contents, down to Custom Table of Contents. We're going to do Custom Table of Contents for a few reasons, but we're going to make sure that we have 3 levels on, that we have dot tab leaders on, and that you get this sort of preview that looks like it has dot leaders with page numbers. Then you go into Options, and you turn on your levels of headings if you created new ones. If you modified the heading 1, 2, and 3 that were already there from Microsoft and all you did was modify them, then you need to leave those on. If you replace them by creating new ones, that's what I like to do. I created my own, so I still have the Microsoft styles as well. Now I'm just going to turn them off in the table of contents because we want our table of contents to pick up H1, H2, H3, which were the 3 styles that I created. I don't want it to pick up anything from Microsoft styles. So I say OK, and I say OK again. And what should happen is the table of contents appears. Now it may not be formatted quite the way you want. So what you need to do, we have 2 options. We could have went into the Modify button here, and we could have made these settings as part of the table of contents, and usually it works. So sometimes it doesn't. So what I'm going to do after I put the table of contents in is I'm going to select it. Now notice when I click on the table of contents, it does turn gray, but it's not selected. You still need to drag over it and make sure it's all selected, and then go and make sure that you have Times New Roman 12-point font, just like your text. Make sure that you have double spacing on. Make sure that you've removed any space before and after. And now it should be looking pretty good. The next thing would be to center that line table of contents. And you may want the level 1 and level 2 headings to remain bold and the level 3s come up not bold. However that appears, that's fine with me. You don't have to change that. But if I did want to change that, I would need to click inside the table of contents, then drag over the lines that are bolded, and then take the bolding off, right, for those lines that are bolded. So just clicking on the table of contents alone, it does turn gray because it's an object of sorts, and it's not selected. So if you want to change a very specific thing within this gray shaded area, you then have to drag your mouse over it to actually be able to make those changes. Usually changes to the table of contents are done with the Update Table button anyways, when you're updating content that you've added to your document, like additional headings down within my report. As you're creating this report, you're adding headings, and then you update the table of contents to find those headings. But every time you update the table of contents, you then need to make sure that it is back in Times New Roman 12-point font, double line spacing, to match with the rest of your report. Okay, so that's a little bit on how to create your custom styles and how to create a customized table of contents. Thank you.